since I've gone on live, but it's time to come back and time to share my learnings and just time to share. It's been a very, very long time. There was a time when I used to go on live every single day on most platforms, and then I needed to have a break. I needed to stop everything that I was doing, reassess who I was and what I needed to bring forth. And so now here I am, I'm back. And the video that I want to bring forward to you today, and I would love to hear your feedback and your thoughts down below, is how do you know when you are making a decision that's aligned to your soul instead of your ego? This is what I want to talk about today, because for me it's very, very clear now. It never used to be, but now it's very clear as to when I'm making a soul-led decision or an ego-based decision. And the outcomes are very different. When you lead with your soul, there are infinite possibilities that are available to you because you are co-creating with the universe. When you make decisions based on your ego, the outcome might be positive. You might be earning the money that you want to earn, but it's still very limited because it's based on what your ego knows, which is the past. It's not creative and creating with the universe. And so I'm going to give you a couple of examples about what I mean and how you can make decisions based on your soul, not your ego. So if these are the types of topics that you are interested in, please subscribe, like, put your comments down below, because it is time for me to give back. And that's what I'm doing, is I'm giving back. I went within the last couple of years and spent a long time working things out and determining how to co-create with the universe. And it's been challenging and it's been difficult, but the place that I am now has never been better. I've never been happier. So if you have not come across me before, my name is Eleni. I used to be a workaholic and a control freak, always chasing the next thing, always doing the next thing. And at the age of 53, I had a spiritual awakening where everything in my life transformed. What I called myself, I used to call myself Helen, and now I reclaimed my birth name, Eleni, and just the way that I live, which is a life of peace and what I perceive as abundance by the ocean with my love. And this is what I want for every one of you, which is to live a soul-led life. Because when you live a soul-led life and you do create with the universe, you can live a life beyond your wildest dreams. And so let's get into the details. One thing that I learned to do over the last few years is actually know when it was my soul speaking, which is usually in whispers, and know when it was my ego shouting at me. And I've learned to differentiate, I've learned to discern, and I've learned how to make that decision. So we live in an era where we have so much information thrown at us, where we've had childhood conditioning, we've have societal expectations, we have people who are trying to influence us to buy from them, people who are trying to convince us that we are not enough so that we can buy their service so that we can be enough if we learn from them. So there's so much that's going on around us. And how do we discern? How do we know the path that our soul wants us to follow, as opposed to the path that our ego wants us to follow because it's afraid of what might happen if we don't? And so I'll give you an example. A few years ago, one of my businesses was a seven-figure business, and it was really birthed from the heart because it did give a lot of good to the people that were involved with that business. So I had a large team and I had clients from all around the world, and it really came from a place of passion, and it continues to do so well in terms of the ripple effect of hypnotherapists helping their clients. Absolutely. But there came a point where, when I used to run my workshops, which led to retreats, and even though those workshops and retreats were so, what can I say? They gave so much value, so much value. I started to feel this constriction in my belly. And so, how do we know whether we are being led by the soul or our ego? It's from our body. Our body tells us everything. Think about it. Think about when your body constricts and when your body expands. And so I started to run these workshops, and not started, I was continuing to run these workshops, which I've been continuing all around the world for years and years and years. And all of a sudden, just before I would go on, I'd start to feel this sickness in my belly. And it wasn't fear, but it was a real constriction. Like, I feel sick. Like, I literally don't want to do this. And I didn't know why. Why don't I want to do this? I love doing this. It didn't make sense. I had the most incredible team, and the information I was going to share with people would be of so much value to them. Why didn't I want to do this? It made no sense. But the thing is, when you are led with the soul as opposed to the ego, it doesn't make sense. It's the ego that tries to make sense out of everything and tries to understand things. But the soul, how can you possibly know why it's suddenly feeling constricted? Because you don't know what the future holds. You don't know where your soul wants you to go. You don't know what your soul has already planned and co-created with the universe to bring you to this point. We can't possibly know. We just need to trust. And so I did trust, and I let go of doing those workshops. And then it was like, okay, now what? Because that was paying my bills, and that was the most profitable part of my business. And so now that I'm not doing that, what am I doing instead? And so your ego tries to work things out, and that's what it did. I hired a couple of experts that gave me some strategic advice as to what to do next with the business. And I felt even sicker. I felt even sicker. And I knew that I could not continue to do that. I could not continue to do anything that made me feel sick, because I had a spiritual awakening a few years ago where I understood that the universe is there to help us in a way that is so much more powerful than we understand it to be. And so, how do we know when our soul is whispering to us? It feels different. You start to feel tingly all around the body. You feel this warmth inside you. You have heart palpitations. Your heart just explodes. It almost feels like when you fall in love, like that feeling, except it's different. It's this, I don't know what's going on, but I need to be following this path. I need to be following this energy. I don't know why. I don't know where it's going to lead me, but this is the path that I need to follow. So I'll give you an example once again. I was at an event at a convention a couple of weeks back in Perth, the Professional Speakers Association convention. And one of the speakers who was speaking, as soon as he started speaking, I started to feel emotional. I started to feel tingly through my body. My heart started to do these heart palpitations. Now, I don't know this person, and it wasn't a physical attraction thing. So it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. It was like, oh, my soul is responding to the energy in this room. And I don't know why, but I need to follow the energy. And so that's what I did. I followed the energy. I found this person afterwards, found out what services he was providing, and I got onto it. And it didn't make logical sense as to why I would do this. But my body was giving me very firm guidance that this is what I needed to do. And so your body is always giving you information from little choices like what do you eat, to bigger choices like whether you should stay at a certain workplace, whether you should stay in a relationship, whether this particular friendship is something that you need to be a part of anymore. It could be anything, any decision, but your body is giving you information. It's always giving you information. And we need to get accustomed to listening to this information. So when I first started this trek of listening to what my soul was saying to me, the ego comes back in, and it comes back in strong. And it's like, but if you do that, then you're not going to earn that income, and then you can't buy that thing, and then you can't afford to live in this house. And then, so it gives you fear. So whenever anything is fear-based, it comes from the ego. The soul, there is no fear with the soul. There is absolutely no fear. There is only love. And when you feel that expanded feeling of, oh, goosebumps, and I feel love, that's your soul speaking to you. That's your soul saying, come with me and trust, it's going to be okay. Trust, it's going to be okay. And so what I invite you to do is listen to your body. What is your body saying to you at any moment of time? When you are about to make any choice, it's time for us to pause and actually become a little bit more discerning. It might be that you're spending a little bit more time than you need to on social media. So get discerning. Get off social media if that's what you need to do. It might be that you need to listen to your body in terms of what foods you're eating, what drinks you're consuming, what you're watching on television, what you're listening to. I'll give you another example. So Christian and I, what were we listening to? We don't have a television, but we thought we would try this series on Netflix just to see if it resonated. And we put the first episode on, that was funny, and then we put the second episode on, and I just felt yucky in my body. Like it was just a normal series. It had a lot of violence, which usually in the past never bothered me. But I thought, do I really want to be engaged in this kind of activity just before going to bed? No. There's a reason why I cancelled my Netflix subscription years ago. Let's not start that path again. And it's because it just didn't feel right anymore. It felt like this sort of constriction, anxiety kind of feeling, as opposed to an expansive feeling. So listen to what your body is saying. If you are following somebody on social media and you come off the call and suddenly you feel anxious, like a bit stressed, then that's a message that it's not something you need to be listening to. It's not energy that you need to be a part of. Because whatever energy we're a part of, it either brings us up or it brings us down. And I felt that when I was watching that Netflix series, I was actually being brought down. I was going down. I could feel myself going down. And it's only because the last few years I have been so observant of how my body feels in every moment that I know whether I'm following the path of my soul or following the path of my ego. So we need to become a lot more discerning, guys. We need to stop rushing so much and pause and ask ourselves the question, is this feeling good in my body, or is this feeling off in my body? And if it's feeling off in your body, it's time to let it go. And if it's feeling good in your body, follow the energy. If you found this video helpful, please, please, please like, subscribe, follow, and put some comments down below, because it's time for me to give back, and that will encourage me to do that. Thank you so much. Sending you so much love.